All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Between a Pot and a Hard Place. I'm Stephen Colton.
Hey, guys. I'm Chris Kirkpatrick.
And you might notice we're matching today. It's like our new uniform.
I know. I typically match people on accident, but this was totally coordinated.
It kind of was. I mean, I was like, I'm not going to wear mine. I need to wash it again. But I was like, I really haven't worn it. I just wanted to throw it on for this.
Oh, I can't believe that you confessed that you're wearing it.
I don't care. I mean, really, I didn't really wear it out that much. I wore it to the grocery store, I think, once, and put it away. But I didn't. It's not like I dumped a bunch of really dirty clothes on top of it. It was just kind of laying there on its own. So I was like, oh, I'll just slide it on.
Right.
Everybody's clicking off like he doesn't wash his laundry.
No. I think that the truth is that for women, clothes are clean or dirty, but for guys, as Bill Murray said, there are many subtle layers. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yes. So anyway, we are cool. We are representing.
I know if it's dirty. Doesn't smell like a dumpster. We can wear it.
Okay, there we go.
That's kind of how I look at clothes, unless there's an obvious big blob of whatever. But yeah, something I mentioned the other day that I didn't notice before: the bottom stripes, drumsticks.
Yes,
I didn't notice that immediately. I noticed it a few days ago.
I'm with you. I saw the guitars right away when I looked at it, and then I looked at it a second time and saw the drumsticks. They clearly put a lot of thought into it. And then, I told you, I didn't automatically see the stars and stripes. Yeah, I love this shirt. Lee, you're awesome. Thank you so much just for your generosity and
absolutely.
Letting us kind of represent you, and everything else. So thank you for that gift. That is really cool.
I want to go ahead and say, first of all, that Between a Pot and a Hard Place is brought to you by Mark Guggenheim. Follow Mark Guggenheim on Twitter at @mguggenheim.
So can I share now that we've put Mark out there, how awesome and generous Mark has been.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does he sponsor us and support us, and he's been a guest on the show, but we had reached out to him about our desire to do some kind of raffle and to see if he'd be willing to sign, a DVD for the show. And not only did he say yes and sign multiples, but he also has given both Stephen and I some cool gifts along with it. And so I realize this is not like kindergarten, but I'm totally going to show and tell.
Absolutely.
I feel like if there's one great thing about having your own podcast is that you can do whatever you want. Right?
Yeah, no rules.
So I got this box from Mark here this week, and some of you guys might not know, Mark Guggenheim, along with being a highly respected writer, director, producer, he's also written books. These are the from the Arrow series, Arrow Fatal Legacies. And so not only did he write it, but he signed the book. And then I got 2 DVDs. The first one is the complete first season of DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Nice.
And then the last one, my absolute favorite one, is Arrow. Arrow Season
awesome.
1. And so again, I never thought that being on a podcast that we'd get free stuff, but
yeah,
it's founded with free merch. And
and it's one of those things too where it's like it never hurts to ask. I felt weird asking Lee for a T-shirt because I was like, because we were talking about that, we want a shirt way back when she was on the show, a couple of months ago.
But I'll be honest. When we did that, I was totally razzing her. I never thought in a million years that she would actually do it. I just was poking fun. We did this because we love talking about pop culture. We did this before there was a show, and we do this not for a paycheck or anything, but just because it really gives us something to do, and it's a lot of fun. But
yeah, Yeah, and I kind of want to like touch on a serious note, because you talked about like we did this before the podcast, and it reminded me, and as I told you a few days ago, a friend of mine, and you knew him as well on Facebook, David Caldwell, passed away this past weekend, and it was funny. I remember the first time I saw you and him commenting together. I'm like, how do you know each other? You don't live near each other. Then I'm like, oh wait, it's the internet,
right?
And we were on this Heroes group, which is where we met, and I think was it Heroes Fans United or something like that?
It was, yeah.
And he was in that group, and I really didn't know he was as sick as he was, and unfortunately, it ended his life, and it was terrible. And he was big on reading, so I thought that was really cool that Mark had sent the book, because I know, and he was kind of into the comic book stuff and heroes and books and reading. And really cool thing was at the funeral service, they didn't have flowers; they had like stacks of books.
Wow!
And because he really loved books, and he was like, "Don't give me flowers and all that, and don't send donations." They said he had wanted to have donations sent to their local children's library, and instead of flowers, which was awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and he was a really cool dude. I met him when I worked at Toys R Us. I worked there for like 2 months, 3 months when I was in high school, and he was there. And they always pinned him in to play Santa Claus because he, was a larger guy and had a white beard and grayish beard. So he was the perfect fit for Santa. And I had one of my best memories with him was when they canceled the Christmas event. So he wasn't Santa. He was just kind of hanging out after work. And I got to put on the Jeffrey the Giraffe costume, which I've talked about on here. And that was amazing. He was sitting there like laughing at me like, ha, ha, ha. And it was cool. And I was really sad to see that he had passed away.
Yeah, I was really surprised. It's amazing how many long-term friendships that I ended up getting because of my involvement in that Heroes Fans Unite group.
Yeah.
And, some people poo-poo internet friendships, but I will tell you that they're just as real and just as vital and long-lasting as any friendships that you develop. And I didn't know David as well, but I certainly recognized that he and I both had this super intense love of literature, right? Mm-hmm. And we had some good talks about books that he was reading or had read, or and sometimes you feel like there aren't as many people that are as passionate about literature as
right.
And he certainly was somebody that I considered to be an equal in that regard. And I certainly respected that about him, and I'm really sad that he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to know him all that well. I mean, I met him in person and everything, but it became one of those like internet friendships after, because I might have seen him a handful of times after working at Toys R Us, and then my uncle's wedding, which was like 2011, I saw him there. And my uncle was really close to him. It hit him a little bit harder, a lot harder actually than it hit me, because he knew David for, a lot longer than I did and was around him a lot more than I was. And my uncle, he kind of started this mythology around David Caldwell. Well, David Caldwell, kind of like the Chuck Norris memes and things. Like Chuck Norris is like David Caldwell's beard can beat up Chuck Norris, like that kind of like thing. And it's gone on and on and on over the years. And then one time my uncle went as David Caldwell for Halloween.
Wow.
And it was just one of those weird things. I'm just scrolling through here trying to find a post. I became friends with David's sister on Facebook, and I met her at the services, and she's really great. And their entire family, like I've never known any of his family, and I'm just like, oh, they're so nice. And but yeah, it was really sad that he had gone away. I think he would have gotten a kick out of this whole thing with Mark Guggenheim.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Mark Guggenheim, you've been talking about it.
Right.
I kind of got sidetracked there. But yeah, so we're going to have another contest, as you mentioned. And while I can't say exactly what we're giving away, the idea was Arrow Season 1 signed, which is what you have.
Right.
My package is coming, and I asked Mark to send me the giveaways so that I could send them out to whoever wins. And I haven't gotten that package yet. I had a really frustrating time with the UPS because I got a notification probably like Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. saying, "You have a package coming tomorrow." I'm like, "Yes, finally." It's coming out of California. I'm like, "All right, I know who that is. I don't have anybody else sending me anything from California, so yes." And then Friday comes around, and the estimated window was 1:30 to 5:30 p.m. on Friday. 2:00 hits. I get a notification. Your shipment is delayed Monday by 9 p.m. I'm on emails with UPS. Do it now, please. Do it. Like the Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it, And I'm like so mad. They're like, unfortunately, we cannot. And it's sitting in this city right now in some sort of like bin somewhere in like a building somewhere. And I couldn't even go there to get it because they're like, "Oh, that place is closed today. I'm sorry." I'm just like, come on. And so I'll have to wait until tomorrow, which about 12 hours from now, maybe, or not 12 hours, 24 hours at the most. So I'm excited to see what I get.
Yeah.
And then, I just, a 4-pound package has to be a nice sized box.
I think it will be. I think it will be. I take it for granted the fact that Mark and I live probably about maybe 30, 35 miles away from each other.
Yeah.
Right? So my boss didn't have all that far to travel.
No.
But that said, I don't know why you're surprised that UPS didn't show up on time. They never show up on time.
I'm not really. I mean, it just frustrated me because it's like you waited until in the middle of the delivery window to say that it's not going to be delivered. It's at least notify me, like, hey, it's going to be a couple days from now. Had it been one day earlier, had that been processed in time, it would have been at my door Friday. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm thankful that he's being so kind and generous to give us this stuff. And I can't say exactly what the prize will be, because I don't want to say, oh, maybe he just sent you Arrow and Legends, and maybe he's sending me like season 3 or something. I don't know. Right. So I asked him, like, whatever you have, I'm so grateful. Like, I was expecting one copy that I was gonna buy at like Walmart, Best Buy, wherever, and mail it to him to sign and mail it back to me. That's the whole plan. And then he's like, "Oh no, forget that. Here, let me send you this." And wow. So I think I was kind of wondering what we should do with this contest. I was like, should we do the same and just draw names? Should there be like a little contest where you answer one question and then that's it? Or, make it fun or make it simple, or fun and simple together. If we had a big wheel, we could spin it and then, I don't know, have Vanna White come on to announce it. I
don't know if my wife wants me to have a big giant wheel or Vanna White in my house.
Yeah.
So I probably won't be able to do that.
You can take the wheel. I'll take Vanna White.
Okay.
And then that way, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we could draw names again. We could just enter it and then draw the name. I like the idea of trivia. I don't know what it is. The contest or make an obstacle course or like.
I'm not against the idea of trivia, and I think that since we've got multiple copies of things that are coming, we could do one that's a regular giveaway, and then we could invite someone on with us to do trivia, and as a consolation prize for losing, because of course they're not going to beat us, right? Because we are like the masters of trivia. But as a consolation prize, right? They could get that as their too bad so sad you didn't win gift.
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, trivia.
Yeah, so that way you get trivia, we get some involvement. We got to talk.
That was trivia will work.
Yes, and that is my wife chiming in. So that means that she agrees.
And she didn't say no wheel.
No wheel. You know what that idea? You give an inch, take a mile, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honey, we're getting a wheel. So. Yes.
I think that could be fun. I mean, because we can easily pull somebody in here, and that's why I kind of want to announce it now. And so by next Sunday, we can do the show, the giveaway, and everything on Sunday.
Well, how about this would be fun? Is clearly there are people that are watching now. If you're watching and you're hearing my voice right now, and you would like to be on the show and possibly get one of these awesome signed consolation prizes from Mark Guggenheim, all we ask is simply just go ahead and comment someplace in the chat, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that out there. And again, we'd love to have you on the show and see if you could beat us at some trivia too. So anytime during this episode, right? How about that?
That works. And we'll leave it open too, because there may be some people that watch exclusively on YouTube, and this won't be going live on YouTube. So we'll open it up until, say, I don't know, next week at least. But like immediately, if like you get the first picks, you get the first, not picks, you're not picking anything, but you get I guess first in line, because we're only going to have like, what would you say, maybe 2 or 3 people, maybe, because like only 2 winners really. So I mean,
we're going to give one. We'll do one. We're going to draw a name and just go ahead and give it out, and we'll have one person that will go ahead and we will invite them on the show to do the trivia.
There we go. Yeah.
And as long as you guys go and comment on this video between now and next week.
There we go. Yeah.
In both competitions. So
and there's a lot of room there, because with the drawing, you know, there could be 10, 15, 20, even 1 million people. If 1 million people watch this tonight, 1 million people, come on. I know we can do it. 1 million views. But no, you know, we could do that.
Right.
I think that would be great.
Hey, I've been spending a lot more time on. Oh, hey, there we go.
There we go.
All right, and Corey is my little brother. He just turned 40 years old recently. So, happy birthday, Corey! Officially.
Yeah, happy birthday. Maybe you'll get a nice, awesome Arrow season 1 or Legends or whatever the prize may be. It's a mystery, kind of, and that adds a nice element to it. It's kind of like
anything we find out of the $5 bin at Walmart.
Yeah, it could be. I could just send you like a piece of paper with the word Arrow written on it, and then that's it.
As epic as that would be.
Yeah.
We're not going to be cheap. We'll be generous, I promise.
Yeah, and I like not knowing what my package is going to contain, because it's kind of a mystery to me too. And tomorrow I probably will. Well, I don't know. I was thinking about doing an unboxing, like, here, look what I got, everyone. But maybe I shouldn't do that, because maybe I should save it for the podcast. Because if we're giving away prizes, it would be nice to know. But then again, people, you know, the first in line could have first pick of, maybe we do the trivia one first, because that person, the winner, could have an option. Do you want this prize or do you want this prize?
Okay.
Then the lucky wheel winner, or whatever we're going to call that one, can have the other one. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I think so too.
And of course, Danny's watching. Hello, Danny.
Hey there, Danny.
You know you want to win one of these awesome prizes.
I know.
Because, I mean, I'm excited.
I am too.
I want to kind of enter the contest so I can keep all of them for myself.
Well, that would be like horribly unfair, and I would want them for myself. So you can't.
Not rigged at all.
Not rigged at all. We will be totally fair and unbiased.
Yes.
Yes, as long as I win, totally fair and unbiased.
Totally unfair. And then if you do win, I'll just keep it because I want it more. And
I guess what is it? The whole possession is 9/10 of the law.
I guess UPS wins because they're in possession of it.
Right. Clearly, they've won this competition, hands down. It's like it got lost in the mail, right?
Yeah, lost. They're at home like, haha, and I'm reading a book and I'm doing all this stuff.
Right.
Well, there goes my chance of winning, says Danny. Well, of course, you lose, so don't even enter because we've already won. Kidding. Enter all you want.
Absolutely. Hey, I wanted to just plug. I know that we're really working on our presence on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And I know we often put our Twitter, for Mark Guggenheim, but it would also be good to put Between a Pod and a Hard Place. If you guys are on Twitter,
yes,
already followed us and the podcast on Twitter, it'd be cool if we could go ahead and share your Twitter, my Twitter, and the podcast Twitter.
Yes, I'm gonna type in the podcast Twitter here. Should have had this ready to go. I need to like copy and paste these names and have them ready.
Come on, Steven. You're just dropping the ball.
I am dropping the ball. It's heavy. I'm carrying all these Arrow DVDs that I'm keeping for myself, and I can't.
Right. Apparently.
So the show Twitter would be at Pod and Hard Place, and then I'm pulling up my Twitter now so that I can get these Twitter names because I don't even know my own Twitter. I memorized the podcast Twitter, but I mean it's kind of sad that I don't know my own, and so I'm gonna click here and.
But yours is so easy.
Yeah, it is. But I forget if it's like a capital letter or like an underscore, one of those little things. Okay, here we go. I should have known what this was way before now. It's kind of sad that it's kind of like when you don't know your own phone number.
Right.
And because you don't ever call yourself.
You know what? I used to not know my phone number on my cell phone, and I literally had to go and write it on the back of my phone case just so that I wouldn't forget it. So I know it's confession time, right?
Well, I confess to wearing a dirty shirt, so I mean,
right. I mean, now that we're clearing the air and getting it out there, but yours is really easy as far as your.
Yeah, it's really just my first and last name.
_ Colton.
Yeah.
Right? Mine is like alphabet soup, right? I don't know why I have, Christo 4586192. That really rolls off the tongue. But like us on Twitter. I'll follow you back.
Mm-hmm. Me too, and the show.
Yeah. So hey, we'll take all the love and support you guys can give us.
I'll throw those up there again real quick if you missed it. Pod and Hard Place and at Stephen Colton, and then hashtag 4586192.
Sounds like a number, right? Like I've been in prison, and that's what my name would be, right? I'll be like, turning sideways, holding the plank, and right.
Now the 8675309 song is in my head. It's like 4586192. That's your Twitter how not. I don't know. But yeah.
That almost worked.
It almost worked. I had to force it too much. I was like, no.
So I gotta say that as far as weeks of superhero shows go, this has been a really good one. Would you agree?
It has. In the middle of this episode, I named it The Flash, The Winners, and The Wardrobe. Because the wardrobe, and then The Flash, and then the winners of the contest next week. Yeah. So I wanted to be fun with it. And The Flash is we don't have to just talk about Flash tonight. It could be Flash, Batwoman. I caught up on Batwoman, and I didn't realize they didn't have an episode last week.
No, they didn't. And
I didn't know that. So I'm sitting here like expecting to find a whole new episode of Batwoman. Like, where's it at?
Well, wasn't there an award show that was going on? And
I think so, yeah.
Right. So it wasn't like they just decided, we don't screw you guys. We're not going to have an episode. It does mean that I'll enjoy being able to watch the cast tonight. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be really cool. But Flash, I think I was a bit harsh previously about the beginning of the new season.
I think so, a little. But I mean, then again, you don't really know what to expect when you're coming off such a weird season where the first 3 episodes of the new season are the last 3 of the previous season, really. Right. And it's kind of like at a weird point.
Right.
And that's really starting to build up towards the culmination of like, okay, this is the moment. Like we'll go ahead and say we saw Iris come out of the Mirrorverse, but a little bit differently. And so the next episode, I think this Tuesday's episode will be the finale of season 6 and then roll into it's officially season 7, but meant to be the season 6 finale, I believe.
Yes. Well, I will say that for me, the character who has been the most surprising is Barry Allen, right? Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
And you'd think that after 6 seasons, almost 7, that we would say we have learned all of his tricks. We know what he's capable of. But in the very first episode where where Barry ends up taking on all the personalities of Wells.
Yeah.
He pulls all of them off brilliantly. It was just hilarious. And then this last week, where Barry, almost the complete opposite, where he becomes a being of, pure logic, right,
Mm-hmm.
and intellect, where he has this speed thinking, but he has no empathy or emotion. I thought that was amazing too.
And it really reminded me of Clifford DeVoe
Yes,
so much because it was
Yeah.
it was so good.
Right. I don't know how you could watch what Barry did in that and not automatically, have the thinker come to mind.
Right.
And it really was the same kind of thing that the smarter that the thinker got, the more he didn't seem to care about, his wife or the effects that his master plan would have on others. So, yeah.
Go
ahead.
I really would have liked to see that Barry going against Clifford because, like, those two, they were equals, basically. And so that would have been really cool to see how that would have worked out.
Yeah. I think somebody had made the comment, though, that version of Barry, of Flash, was OP. He was just overpowered, right?
Yeah.
Who needs to have Cisco or Caitlin or anybody else if Barry can do all of it on his own, right?
Right.
That certainly does it. I will say, though, that the moment that really shocked me in that, I mean, getting Iris out of the Mirrorverse, that was a big deal. But even more powerful was that crazy fight scene where injects herself with Velocity 10, and I've been calling. People have been arguing about what to call her, but Killer Frost with speedster powers, I've been calling her Killer Flash, which to me, I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, Flash. I don't know if I came up with it, but I first called it Flash Frost, and that sounds weird. So, Killer Flash does kind of like work, and I didn't know she was going to do that. I had no idea what was going on until I saw her like what happened, and then they show you Velocity 10 empty. You're like, oh,
yeah. So we have this awesome fight scene between her and Barry. Her, super speed and then using her ice powers. Now, I will say, and I don't want us to go down a black hole here, right? But remember when we learned in season 1 with the cold gun that speed and cold are opposites? Right?
Yeah.
That was the whole idea of a cold gun, was that it would negate Barry's speed.
That's true.
And so you wonder how exactly Caitlin was able to, create a speed serum that would allow her to run as fast as Barry and yet still use her cold powers
while she's in speed. It could be a thing or a few things, like maybe it's the blast of cold that slows you down, but if the cold's coming from within, maybe it doesn't have a negative effect on the speed. Or we can always say that in the one body, there's two entirely different people. There's Caitlin Snow, and then there's Killer Frost. So maybe Caitlin had the speed powers and was controlling the body, while maybe Frost was controlling the brain. And who knows? It is kind of interesting, though. It's like, hey, wait, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I believe that when you watch shows like these, you have to, what they call it, the suspension of disbelief, that you just have to kind of accept that that on TV they have their own rules about how things work.
They do.
It doesn't have to make necessarily logical, scientific sense. You just have to believe it, and that's where I am.
Use the force. Yeah, Danny. Like, use the force. Exactly. But yeah, it was really cool, regardless of the science behind it, seeing her run it like that. Yeah. Of course, instantly I'm thinking, why didn't you do that like 6 years ago to help him? But it is what it is.
You get the feeling like they've been on the receiving end of Barry as Savitar and uh,
Mm-hmm.
and evil speedsters that have come around, and this was her ace in the hole. What do we do if we ever have to deal with an evil Barry again,
Yeah.
right? And so it's sort of like Batman knowing all the people's secrets and how to defeat them. I feel like this was sort of their contingency plan, right?
I really like Danny's comment there. Bill Nye be watching and shaking his head so hard. It's true. He probably would be. He's just like.
Absolutely. But I thought it was a great moment.
It was.
What it made me realize was how much I had missed having the old team back, right?
Yeah.
Because in mix of all of this, we had gotten Cisco was back, and we had Killer Frost back. It was just really, really neat to have all of that, return.
Mm-hmm. It was really cool to see like all of them together too, and not just like one person here, then another person in another scene, and another person. And gosh, they getting towards the end of the episode though, whenever we see what happened. I don't know if we want to jump that far or if there's more in the episode we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think that let's not wait. We'll just go ahead and dive right in.
Yeah. So okay, it's crazy. Where is the comment? I saw a comment a little bit ago about the ending. And this is what I agree with. Danny says, I died. Literally was screaming at the end of the last episode. Can't wait to see if things about to come full circle in the best way. Now, see, after that episode aired, I started thinking, oh my gosh, and connecting dots. So at the end of the last episode, we see, Barry finally snap out of it. And not fully, but, his I don't really care about you intelligence was a side effect of the artificial speed force. So he finally realized he hurt all of his friends. He's looking around like fighting against this genius, evil genius, whatever it is, and he destroys the artificial speed force. Completely destroys it and it emits this, light and everything. And then you see Reverse Flash killing Harrison Wells, burying his body, leaving, and then you see these green orbs forming, and then it's boom, original Harrison Wells. So we're left thinking, what? And if you remember, in the original timeline, the Speed Force and the Flash were created in 2020. And in the show, at least, it's still 2020 because this is the end of season 6. So it's weird because we're a little bit ahead of it now, but
right,
they're coming full circle, which is what Danny was saying. Where in the original timeline before Thawne messed everything up, Flash is born in 2020. Wells is in Star Labs, creates the Flash, and all this stuff happens. So that makes me wonder, Wells is back, the original Wells, something we've never seen before. Will he go back to Star Labs? Because Star Labs wasn't even a thing when he died. It was an idea. And so will he go in there like, what is this? Am I in the past? Like, what is it? What's going on? Will he know who he is? Like, we don't know any of this, but it's interesting that there's no Speed Force. There's no Flash. There's a Star Labs. And then I heard it's 2020. It's like we're catching up to the original timeline.
Right.
And it's really interesting to see how that goes and where it goes.
I'm gonna guess that whatever this new version of Wells we haven't seen yet, the OG Wells, I'm sure that he's going to be instrumental in establishing the speed a more stable Speed Force. That's just going to be my guess in the whole thing. But yes, I mean, talk about shocker. We had just said goodbye to Nash, who once again is yet another Wells who sacrifices himself, for the greater good. We said goodbye to him, and now he kind of gets reincarnated right before our eyes.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how that's going to work because I know Grant Gustin has publicly spoken about like this new Wells. He said something to the effect of this technically is the original Wells, but with a twist in a way we've never seen him before. So it's like, what do you mean by that? My theory, and a lot of other people have the same theory, that this Wells is going to embody, or not embody, but kind of house all the other Wells. So we're going to have what we have with Barry, maybe. That's what I hope, where one day Harry could be there. It's like, well, Alan, you do this, do this. Ramon, shut up. And then the next one, it's going to be, HR or whoever else. And we're not even going to get into that because he should be dead, but whatever. Moving on. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool to see that. It's going to be like a council of Wells in one body.
Right. I don't know as if necessarily we want to do this whole multiple personality disorder Wells. Mm-hmm. But I think that yes, that kind of idea that he is going to be the summation, right? If you were to put all of those different Wells personalities in a pot and cook them and make one cohesive person out of that mix, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that is kind, someone that is funny, someone that is brave, someone that is scientific, but all basically, condensed into one person. I think that might actually work.
And I wonder if he's going to have like memories of all the other Wells. Maybe not be split personalities because that does kind of get old. And they may still do that though. They may still have it to where he's a couple of different Wellses.
Right.
Because of the fact that, Nash never got to say goodbye to anybody else, just Barry. He's like, bye, Barry, and blows up. And nobody else got to say goodbye. That wasn't fair.
Well, there were other people that were present when Nash left. I mean, I think that we know that Allegra was there, right? And Hester was there. So it wasn't just Barry by himself.
That's true. It's interesting to see what's going to happen, though, honestly, because we're slowly catching up to the timeline. And another comment back here was, where is it? About Gideon. Gosh, there's so many comments. We're having a little side conversation here.
Yeah.
It's, Neil deGrasse Tyson versus, Bill Nye and Science and Speed Force. And it's like, wow, okay. But no, there was a comment about here we go. When is he going to make Gideon? And then, of course, Danny comes back. They need to do it before season's end, or we're going to always be wondering. True. We've been wondering for like 6 years, almost 7 years now. When does he make Gideon? Is it 2020, 2021?
And here's the issue that I think it's that whole challenge of time travel, right? Does Barry create Gideon because he knows that Gideon has to be created?
Mm-hmm.
Or is the Gideon that Barry supposedly creates simply the Gideon that he inherited from Thawne to begin with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that he just took credit for it, which is not completely out of his wheelhouse. That's the question that I got. Here we are. We're all going, when is he going to create Gideon? And it's possible that this Gideon that he has, could essentially just be the Gideon that he creates.
That's true. I mean, Gideon herself did tell Barry that he created her, but then again, maybe that's what she was programmed to think. Who knows? It would be kind of cool to see Gideon break and then have to remake Gideon again.
Right. That would make sense. Currently, right now, there's no need for Barry to make Gideon when he already has Gideon. If he were somehow to lose Gideon,
right,
and have to go and bring her back and add tech to it in order to restore her, then that might make sense.
And too,
Yeah.
And we'll never know this answer, but did Barry create all forms of Gideon, or just the one in the time vault? You know.
I think that it's sort of like um, he's sort of like the Bill Gates, um, you know, kind of inventor, right? That he creates the operating system that everybody ends up using in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we already know that on the Wave Rider that they have Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be the same Gideon, right?
Right.
That would be just too coincidental. I think that he creates the operating system, and it's sort of like Alexa, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you own the original Alexa. Everybody
Right.
Alexa, and I think that's kind of ultimately, where we're going to go. At least
Yeah.
that's my guess.
That makes a lot of sense. I think if it were going to happen, though, seeing him create Gideon, I think Gideon should have broken with the Speed Force. And then when he recreated the artificial Speed Force and he was kind of a jackass and all that, then he should have, as Jackass Barry, made the Gideon. And
Right.
then that would have been the moment, and that would have been perfect. But who knows?
Yeah. But I think that would be to me, that would make sense if the Gideon that we know right now were to break and he has to then repair it, then it would explain where Gideon came from. He would be the creator of Gideon, or the Gideon that they end up knowing from then on. But we'll see. I'm hoping that's a plot hole that they answer for us.
Hopefully. And if not, who cares? I mean, I would like to know. It's that one little piece of the puzzle that they haven't really touched on at all.
Yeah.
And they've kind of addressed everything else.
Yeah.
But
we bring up something else that we haven't really talked about. We haven't talked about Cecile.
Right.
And I think that the part that she had played was kind of minor. She was having that discussion with Top, and we had seen that Top had discovered a new aspect of her ability, right? To kind of reach into a person and to kind of twist them from the inside.
Yeah.
And then we see Cecile essentially kind of do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to reach into a person and make them feel a certain way. I just thought that was a kind of a neat thing, just to see her powers. They've always been very passive, right?
Yeah.
The human lie detector, and now we're seeing that she's learning how to weaponize them. It almost concerned me a little bit that here she's conducting an interrogation, and she essentially uses, physical force, uses her powers in order to get information out of Top.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
It was kind of crazy because you saw like they definitely are teasing like this turn with her. Not that they will do it, but they're teasing it at least, or they're making us think that she's going to turn evil, because she really could. She could. I mean, if anybody could create emotion or control and manipulate someone's emotions, wow. I mean, we're looking at like, what if Sylar from Heroes had that power?
Yeah.
Like, wow. I mean, but I don't think they'll eventually like have her be evil. She might start like riding the line there, but then she'll get pulled back. I don't know.
I don't think that Cecile is going to go evil. I think that she, one of the reasons why she had developed the powers that she has of being empathic, was, I think that being empathic makes you in tune with everyone around you, right? You can't hurt somebody because ultimately you're going to feel that pain yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think that would kind of hold her in check. But it is a line that, considering how seriously she takes her job and law enforcement, that I was surprised that she was willing to use her new power in order to cross that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm curious to see if they're gonna, finally let her go out and use that power on the street.
And is she going to get a suit? I mean,
maybe. I
I
mean,
mean,
she certainly has the power suit thing down, but
yeah, and she's not pregnant anymore, so she has no like limitations as far as like having to be careful. And speaking of pregnant, where's that baby? Is she like the Judy Winslow of the Flash? She just disappears.
I mean, childcare does exist.
Well, that's true, but I mean, I don't know. You would think I haven't heard her be mentioned at all in like 3 episodes. So
Right. I think that she's a working woman, and she can be a mom and she can be have her job at the same time. But you're right. We do want to see the baby at some point.
Well, I would probably imagine that having a physical baby on set is probably not very possible right now due to like COVID restrictions and the way they have to film now. They're doing maybe 1 to 3 people in a scene together at most. And then if they have to have a 6-person conversation, reshoot and cut back and forth to have the appearance of, multiple people. And that's an interesting point that I saw in a video over the weekend. We were discussing Pagey on YouTube and Twitter, and he makes tons of videos. I really got into his videos. He really breaks down Flash and all the CW shows. He made a point that with the way the production style, the way it is, there's 2-3 people at most in a scene, and that kind of isolates those people to where the main focus is on them, and so there's not like anybody in the background just standing there being a background character. They're really kind of zoned in tight on what's going on with those actors and not having to focus on like, give him a line to say like, yeah, that's right. Like, you don't have to have any of that.
Right.
And that was a good point. And I was like, all right. And it kind of makes the story a little bit tighter.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that's part of the reason why I think they do so many of the shots in Star Labs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it is that kind of closed, confined space.
Right.
You can kind of control that. So yeah, I think we've kind of talked about Flash. I am just really excited to see where we're going with that. If Flash was like my number 1 for this last week, a very, very, very close second would be Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm. It's getting better and better. Now, some people don't like the style of show and that's nothing wrong with not liking it. But the family drama element, a lot of people aren't a fan of that, and I get it.
When I first heard that it was going to be the super family, I will say that I had a reaction of, "Wow, that sounds pretty boring." However, I was completely wrong. I like the dynamic. And in fact, I think it's really a novel direction that they've taken the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea here that, we had seen Smallville, and in Smallville we see, teenage Clark Kent. We've seen Superman alone and in dating, Lois Lane, and now we see a side of Superman, Clark Kent, that we hadn't before, when we see him as this dorky dad, which I think is really cool. That balance of being a superhero and a father, and him making that choice to kind of step back a little bit from being Superman in order to take care of the people that he really loves as a father. With kids, and I often see, and knowing it myself, that sometimes men sacrifice more than they should, for their jobs. And I think we see, a Clark Kent who's looking at his life and going, I have gained the whole world, but I've lost my family. And now he's fighting for his kids. He's fighting for his relationship and who he cares about. And that return to Smallville is like that step in that direction. So I love it. In the last episode, we had that really cool moment, right, where Jordan goes and tries out for the football team.
Yes.
Right, and you see him walking onto the field. He's got his jersey and pads on, and just from the way that he's walking out there like a complete dork, you know he's going to get clobbered, right? And then what happens?
Oh gosh, he kills it. He dominates it.
He did. I mean, he literally just trounces on all the guys that have been picking on his brother and making his brother's life on the team a living hell. And
yeah,
it was a really great moment, right?
I love that dynamic too because it's backwards from what you would traditionally see. The dorky, like weak-looking kid is the one protecting the older, stronger brother. Well, not older, but and it's like, what? And it's flipped. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what we're learning about here in this show is that they're brothers, right? And there is this rivalry between them, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Jordan got powers and when Jonathan, the favored son, didn't, there was some jealousy there, especially when Clark was spending extra time flying off to the Fortress of Solitude, right? You know that John, he felt left out.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you see John step up and fight for Jordan's ability to go to school. And the whole reason that Jordan goes and does what he does, and trying out and tackling those guys was to stand up for his brother.
Yeah.
And I will say that, I know my brother's watching this right now, but I've always said that, my brother and I were like best friends and worst enemies, right? Like, we might pick on each other, but we also have each other's backs, right? And so one of the things that I like that dynamic, right? Because it is very real, right? I can pick on my brother, but nobody else better touch him, right? And I think that's really cool.
And then do either of you have superpowers?
You know what? I don't know if we ever talked about this, but I'm telepathic. Did you know that?
Awesome. Yeah. That's cool.
And my brother and I have had these conversations a number of times. I will have a random, crazy, strange thought, and I will go, "Oh, that's dumb." I won't say it out loud, and then it will come out of his mouth. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about something like purple cheese blocks, right? There's no way that anybody is going to just out of nowhere come up with that. And I'll think it in my head, and then my brother will say purple cheese blocks. That shouldn't happen.
That's crazy.
And if it happened once, you could say, well, it's just coincidence. But it's happened thousands of times over the years.
Wow.
And so it's weird and it's creepy. But I've always just taken it as being that, yep, guilty, absolutely, right? But it happens so much. I think it's just the fact that we are, like it or not, we are connected.
Anyway. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I've had moments like that, but I wouldn't say it's with a consistency like that, because I've had moments where I would be thinking something like little predictions almost, and they happen, or like little thoughts. I used to think I could predict the double, daily doubles on Double Jeopardy or on Jeopardy, because I would go and right before it went like I thought Double Jeopardy or Daily Double, and there go Daily Double. How did I know that? But I realized later that I subconsciously was hearing him say answer is, and he didn't always say answer is. Only on the Daily Doubles did he do that, and then I didn't make the connection until I was like, wait a minute, there's no way I can know every single time every daily double pops up.
Right.
And so I realized subconsciously I heard the little cue, and it, boom, made me. But I have had moments like that where I've predicted things. Like I'm pretty good at guessing the time sometimes, or, maybe not if it's going to rain, but small little things, but never to that level.
You're like, the sun is in the east. It is 9:45. Right?
Yeah. Like I could sometimes I'm within like 5 or 10 minutes of the time. And I know that's a pretty big window, but if you've not looked at a clock in the last 6 hours and you go, well, 9:15 and it's like 9:20 or something, I can, but I mean, that's not impressive or anything. It's just kind of one of those things.
You know that I was a Walmart employee 20 years ago. And I remember that Walmart, the problem that drove me crazy was they had Muzak, right? They had their Walmart radio, and it was the same music all day would play at the same time. Do they still do that?
Well, I mean, they do that. They have like Walmart radio, and now in the parking lots, I guess you've seen Walmarts in recent years. Right. I don't know about over there, but here they have these like mobile speaker things that they set up in the parking lot with flashing blue lights. Right. And it boom, boom, boom. It comes out of like, well, thank you for listening to Walmart radio. We remind you to wear your mask when you're shopping. No. And they replay that same thing over and over. And then they have the music and stuff, but like being back in the electronics where the wall of TVs are, it's the little like sample DVD or whatever is being played on a loop. It's that song, like the Walk a Mile in My Shoes. It's just like walk a mile in my shoes. And it's like over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I went to a different Walmart recently and heard it. I'm just like, no.
Can't escape it. Well, and I only bring it up because I would be working my shift and I wouldn't need to look at a clock. I would just hear, blame it on the rain, right? And I was like, oh, it must be 6:30, right? Yeah. It's that same kind of thing. But I don't think that was a superpower. But nice try.
Yeah, and wow. Repeat songs in most places. That's the downside to working places like that. No. So what else we have? A Batwoman. We haven't really touched on Batwoman in a couple of weeks.
I know.
I finished watching the episode from 2 weeks ago because I'd started it and then I got tired or something and I didn't want to do what I normally do and fall asleep while watching and have to rewind and like step by step figure out there it is. That's where I left off. Right. And just rewatch the whole thing. So I watched the beginning, then rewatched the whole thing, and it was a pretty good episode. They're almost there. They're pinned. They've almost narrowed down where Kate is, and so what I am wondering is when they finally get there, if they get there, what are they gonna find? Because they're not gonna find Ruby Rose. I can tell you that. Because remember, she's done everything she could do with the character, according to her, which I never believed that, but whatever.
Yeah, I think they certainly had a lot more show to have her in.
Oh yeah.
I think I had seen that she had talked about being open to come back and to wrap up the story.
But, that would be interesting.
Yeah, but it's sort of like it's why you don't have two brides at a wedding, right? That one would clearly detract from the other. Mm-hmm. Ruby Rose, as much as I appreciated her take on the Kate Kane character, she's going to end up kind of, maybe we're being manipulated.
Maybe.
We'll see. It wouldn't be the first time where somebody said, oh, I'm leaving the show, and then all of a sudden they come back. And I do keep wondering, how are we going to resolve the Kate Kane storyline without her?
But, you would ultimately have to say that she is dead. Yeah. If there's no actress.
Right. It's just like how long have we been searching for Batman, for Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
They're more than happy to let us linger and wonder what happened to people as they continue to tell the storyline.
Yeah.
I do want to make sure that we give Javicia who's playing Ryan. I hope that we give her a fair shake, and I will say that her performance has been kind of a slow burn.
Yeah,
like she has been. We see her fighting more adeptly with each episode. It does seem like the episode for tonight, that injury from the kryptonite, is really going to take its toll.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's going to take her out. So we'll see. Maybe they find Kate and Kate gives her a cure, and then Kate says, "You know what? You've been a great Batwoman. I'm going to retire now. Congratulations," and everybody's happy.
Right. I mean, I think the only solution I think what's gonna end up happening is they're going to have to go and get that substance that cures everything. Right.
Yeah.
That's ultimately that's going to drive them to go to Sophia and ask for the cure.
And we know they had the map.
Yeah.
That was in the and I love how they keep talking about Joker. They keep talking about Jack Napier, which of course was the identity of the Joker in the '89 Tim Burton Batman, which I think is kind of cool that they're going with the same identity, because we know in comics Joker never had one true identity. Right. He was different people. I don't think there's ever been one true Joker. It's just been different people. But it's still kind of cool that they're going with that, because he's in prison, I guess. I guess he's in Arkham. I don't know where he's dead. Or I don't know if they really addressed that, if he is dead or just in prison or what. But it's really cool that they're dropping his name a lot. And I'm starting to wonder, are they hinting at something in the next, maybe season 3, if they're going to be a Joker come in and then Batman maybe Batman is the Joker.
Maybe. I think he's such a big character in the Batman story that to not get him, right, I think would be just a big letdown.
Right? Hashtag Mark Hamill.
Right. I would throw my hat in the ring for Mark Hamill. He would be awesome. And make a Joker with a lightsaber. Wouldn't that be something? Of course, I don't think that Javico would have much of a chance against the Joker with a lightsaber. No offense.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like young women could automatically be force sensitive.
Right.
That's one of the things in the Star Wars movies that I didn't particularly like, that she just automatically was a Jedi Master, but whatever. That's a whole different conversation.
Okay, so I know this is completely off topic.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever even dabbed our little toe in the pool of Star Wars.
I don't think so.
Was it Anakin? I mean,
yeah,
6 years old in a pod race, somehow using his force sensitivity in order to win races.
It's true.
We see that happening. It's not. Anyway, I think it would be an interesting thing to see.
Well, we also found out that with Anakin, we don't really know. There's kind of a clouded origin there, but with Rey, we know that she was the granddaughter of the evil Emperor Palpatine. So that explains her instant. Oh yeah, spoilers. Sorry.
You haven't seen it yet. What planet are you living on?
Yeah, seriously, that movie's out for a while now. And if you haven't seen episode 1 yet from 1999 or whatever, he's Darth Vader.
Right. Right. By the way, he's also Luke's father.
Yeah. No, that's not true. That's impossible. We should cover Star Wars more.
My father.
No.
We have totally jumped the rails.
Yeah, we have. I mean,
we're talking about Batwoman. I think I still feel like that we are recovering from Batwoman being recast.
Yeah.
I still feel as much as I'm enjoying the show, that it's still kind of struggling to get its footing a little bit.
Yeah. It is a little bit. I think it's just an adjustment. I think once the whole Kate Kane thing is resolved, then they're gonna probably find their place, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. We're still hanging on to like the ghost of Kate Kane. Like,
I think so too. I don't know exactly how to put that whole thing to bed.
Show her dead or show her alive and retire or something. Like, one of those two things has to happen.
Right. Nothing short of like maybe the ghost of Kate Kane, coming and going.
Force ghost.
Right.
Maybe she is dead. See, a new Star Wars was related.
It all comes back. It all comes back. Talking about recasting, have you watched the recent episodes of Black Lightning?
I have not kept up with Black Lightning. I need to. That's the one show I haven't kept up with. So I don't know why. I love Black Lightning. I will. I've really enjoyed that show. Again, just like the parallels between Black Lightning and Superman and Lois, right? Mm-hmm.
Those are really, really similar. You have superhero dad who has a family, right? And in this case, his youngest daughter, Lightning, she has been pushing the limits of her powers, and everybody's warning her, "You're pushing yourself too hard. There's only so much energy you can absorb." And typical teenager, she goes, "I'll do what I want. You can't tell me what to do." And it became almost like a drug for her. Well, what does she do? She goes up, she absorbs the energy, and it's too much. And at the end of one of the recent episodes, she literally blows herself to bits.
Wow.
And I was just sitting here going,
yeah, that's
crazy. Up. And in the last episode, Jefferson throws caution to the wind, throws his suit on, flies up to where she was, and he uses his powers to gather her energy into himself. Just about kills himself in order to do it. And over the course of the episode, they're able to reconstitute her. They bring her back, right? But when they bring her out of the machine and they show her, it is a completely different actress.
Okay, I heard about that. I didn't see it happen, but I did hear that they were gonna, or that they did kind of like recast somebody.
They did, and I feel like this is becoming all too common on these shows where characters are getting tired and they're leaving the show, and they have to find these different ways to, write them out of the story, and instead of just simply saying that she flew off into the night sky and never came back, they had to go and recast her.
And Corey makes a good point. They lived her.
They did.
And the funny thing about that is, literally today, I watched the episode where the new Aunt Viv came in. So that we're talking about the whole psychic connection thing, and I just watched that today. And wow, that was a weird episode because you're so used to the original one, and then all of a sudden you turn on season 4, episode 1 of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then wait, what?
You're like, wow, what happened to you?
And she didn't even have the same personality. Okay, we're getting sidetracked again.
No, they didn't look anything alike. But no, I think that what's tragic for me in Black Lightning is the show's almost done. Right, this is their last season, and it would have been great for China Anne McClain to have finished her run with the show, right?
Yep, his powers work on others.
Corey, I think we've determined that it's a one-way connection, right? It's not that you think things and I say them. It's only I think them and they come out of your mouth.
I think we're having a weird effect of it because we're together on the podcast and he's watching. And so like the signals are getting like jumbled and like reading my thoughts and saying things.
I mean, Stephen, if you start having my brother's thoughts, you might want to get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
But yeah, I do. I need to watch Black Lightning some more, and I need to get really caught up with it because I know especially it's ending. So I really gotta. And Supergirl too. I haven't kept up with Supergirl at all.
Well, they're still on hiatus.
Yeah, they still are. They haven't come back yet. They're probably going to be one of those late start, like the summer, going alongside with Stargirl probably.
I believe they're coming back. They're going to be coming back, and I think Superman and Lois is going to go on a hiatus, and then Supergirl is going to come back.
Yeah, probably. Which would be cool.
Yeah,
to see, because that's still like.
Yeah, but even that show, they're on their last season too, and so I don't know if I'm ready to let those shows go.
I mean, you're gonna have Flash, Superman and Lois, and Legends, because as we know, talking to Mark a little while back on the 1 year anniversary episode, he mentioned that he still kind of consults on Legends, and that show's not ending anytime soon as far as he knows. So that's good. We're gonna get at least one more season of Legends,
right?
And I'm excited about that. Well, probably 2 more seasons, because we're going to get the current season, and then we're probably going to get 1 more after. That's just my guess. But I really love that show. And I did read, too, we never talked about this, the actor, and I can't remember his name, Dominic, the McRory. He's leaving the show.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this season is his last. Or maybe halfway through. I don't know, but he's leaving the show. And it's like, really?
Right. I mean, so we're essentially going to have White Canary piloting the Wave Rider all by herself.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have a new character, I would imagine. But hey, what if Black Lightning is ending? So what if Black Lightning goes to be with the Legends, and then the same with Supergirl? What if Supergirl joins the Legends?
Right.
I mean, that would be cool because they're leaving. So why not?
Yeah. I really feel like that. Legends had always sort of been like this collection of outcasts from other shows.
That's true. Yeah,
so that would certainly be a great place for characters that we still love and want to follow. To still get a chance. To me, I think that'd be a really neat way. And when you consider the fact that the ability of the Wave Rider to travel through time and space. It would be their way to be able to connect with Stargirl, and also to go and connect with Superman and Lois. So I think that'd be really cool.
And what if they go back in time before Nash Wells disappeared? Could they find past Wells, or would post-crisis change that past, and there would not be any Wells at all? Okay, I got to stop thinking, because that's just.
I think we agreed a long time ago that you short circuit when you try to figure out time travel.
Yeah, I feel like R2-D2 when he gets shocked. He's like, and it's.
We've chased that rabbit a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've learned that I could sit and pick it apart, but I'll never find the end. It's like getting sucked into a black hole. You just keep falling forever.
You end up kind of giving yourself an aneurysm.
I think so. I mean, like, there's been a couple of times, like, I almost blacked out. Like, what happened? I lost my memory. Oh, you had a thought. Like, oh no, it hurts.
So, hey, I feel like we've come pretty much full circle with this whole thing. But I feel like this is just a good time to remind people that have, hung on with us here about the competition and what we plan on doing by next week, right?
Yep. And we're going to throw that Twitter up again for Mark Guggenheim. He, big sponsor of the show. He's providing all these goodies for this contest. So thank you, Mark. And
Mark.
We are going to throw our Twitters up here again, I guess. The Pod and Hard Play at Pod and Hard Place for the show. And then, of course, mine is just Stephen Colton. Like, so basic. I'm so boring when it comes to Twitter handles.
Right.
And then that wonderful alphabet soup, Christo 458619292.
I know, gosh.
But yeah, and then of course the Facebook page here, facebook.com/Between the Pod and a Hard Place. So yeah, I think it'd be best you just interact with this video in some way, share it, post it to your Twitters or anywhere else in the world. the YouTube is going to come up probably sometime tomorrow. I'm going to put the YouTube version up. And I guess if it would count if you share the YouTube as well and just say, hey, I shared it on YouTube, and then just some sort of interaction on this video post, like right down there, the comments later on, 2-3 days from now, comment on it, like it, whatever, share it. Anybody that interacts with it, I guess, would be entered for those contests.
I think we really want to include as many people as we can.
Yeah, because
in this trivia contest and in this giveaway, I really want to include as many people as we possibly can in that. So
yeah, and I just mailed off the Karate Kid DVD to the winner from that contest a couple of days ago, so he should be getting that around Wednesday. And yeah, and it's awesome. I love these giveaways because it makes it so much fun for me to like, look, everybody, you won this. And it's like, because I remember how excited I used to be winning something at all. Like, I won $1 off coupon or something, like whatever it was. It didn't matter. Right. And it was so much fun to win. And then now being on the other side of that saying, you win this computer mouse. Congratulations. It's fun to give things away.
All right, well, we will look forward to that. And again, hey, share it, like it, talk about it. We really do appreciate you guys participating and commenting and all of that, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging in there with us.
Yep, and then find out because next week is going to be an interesting week for this show because we're going to have the fun trivia contest. We got to come up with a question or a series of questions, however we're going to do it. By then, like, what is the square root of 72,004,602? And we can't use a calculator. Maybe not quite that kind of question, but Arrow related, Legends related.
Yes, I absolutely think that that we should make sure that it is a pop culture, comic book, TV show related question.
Like what color T-shirt was Mark Guggenheim wearing the first time he wrote anything on Legends? Like, maybe not quite. We got to ask Mark. Like, Mark, is it blue?
Right.
And, oh my gosh, we got to ask him now because if his shirt was blue, that means I caught the powers.
That would be freaky. It would totally be freaky.
That would be kind of crazy. Right. But yeah, we'll come up with some questions by then, and we're gonna have some people. We'll put out. I don't really know who to invite to the show next week. I guess the winner, we'll pick a winner out of all the people over the next week that commented, liked to come on.
Right. Like I told my wife, I said that I'm getting the wheel, right? So I might have to spin the wheel and see. But we'll look at all the names that came up, and we'll find a way to do it randomly.
Well, Corey just won because he said the answer is B, so we all know he has powers.
Exactly.
So he cheated, so he's disqualified. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll get the details exactly, but just know that next week we're going to have one person or two people maybe come on to answer some trivia, and then we're going to have a random drawing to see who will win that.
Yeah.
The other one.
All right.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Brought to you by Mark Guggenheim.
Yes.
Follow on Twitter now.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, Steven, this has been fun.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah. All right. We'll be in contact about what else we're going to do as far as with the giveaway and the competition and stuff.
Yeah. We'll have the details next week. So everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, commenting, liking, tweeting, everything like that. Yes. Awesome. And so I guess that's going to do it for this week. And we'll catch you guys next week when we give you some Mark Guggenheim goodies.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Good night, guys.
All right. Yep. Good night. Have a good night, everybody.